Hello everyone. Welcome to EDUCARE Teaching Learning channel. Thank you for all my subscribers. Those who are watching without subscribing, please subscribe my channel and watch my videos. Your support is my strength. Every single subscription would boost me up for the next level of teaching. So don't forget to subscribe my channel. Let's go to our channel. Story of the day. Once there was a teacher like me who was telling a story in the class. Her story was, there was a boat and there was a couple. This couple was once traveling in a boat. The boat suddenly met with an accident. And this couple doesn't know what to do. There came a lifeboat in which there's only space for only one person. So this couple was thinking. Suddenly, husband pushed the wife and then he jumped into the lifeboat. The wife suddenly shouted. What would she would have shouted? What she would have shouted? Asked the teacher. All students said different answers. She might have shouted at him, she was angry at him, she was scolding him and so on. But all answers were wrong. The teacher continued that the wife was shouting that to take care of the kids. After few days or after few years, the man he also died. He had a daughter. The daughter once came across a diary of his father and read the diary in which her father wrote that her mother was diagnosed with some terminal illness before they were traveling in a boat. So this father thought for a while that anyhow wife will die. If he also sink along with his wife, who will take care of his daughter? Definitely, that's why he jumped into the lifeboat for the sake of her daughter. That is what is purity of love for our parents. Our parents' love will never be estimated or weighed with any other's love. Anyway, what's the moral of the story? Every evil deed. So, of course, mother died. That's an evil. That's a bad thing happened. That's true. But still, for that bad thing, there's one good thing. Because of her mother's death, her father was alive. Her father was there for her for the rest of her life. And he brought her up very nicely and he gave her a good education and married to a very good person. And that's what is her life with her father. That is what is good happened to her. For every evil thing, there is a good thing waiting. So you have to wait patiently. Once when you come across evil things or bad things, don't get disappointed. Be happy and wait for the good things to come. That's what is the story of the day. Welcome back to our channel. With all of your support, I have completed 3 chapters of Class 10 ICSE Biology. And again, with your encouragement and by reading your comments, by your likes and by your continuous subscription, I am motivated for the next chapter of Class 10 ICSE Biology, Absorption by Roots. This topic actually is completely about plants. Many of my students would be grumbling, telling that if it is human anatomy and if it is about human physiology, it would be very interesting for them to study because they are reading about themselves. They'll feel bored reading about plants. In fact, More than human beings, plants are interesting for us. We are living because of plants. Plant is taking carbon dioxide and giving the oxygen for us. We are living with that oxygen only. Our blood is getting circulated because of oxygen only. See the plants. The paper, whatever we are writing is from plants. The benches, whatever we are sitting in the classroom is from plants. Everything is from plants, of course. So, who is hero for us? It's plants. So, this chapter also, I will try to make it very interesting with lots of diagrams and lots of examples. So, the topic for the today is Absorption by Roots, Chapter 4 of Class 10 ICSE Biology. Let's go to our topic. To begin with, what is plant physiology? We'll define plant physiology as the study which deals with internal physiological mechanism of plants. So, it's about the study which deals with internal, whatever mechanism is happening inside the plants is physiology. Internal physiological. Physiology. What do you mean by physiology? For example, I will every time compare plants with human beings. In human beings, circulation of blood is physiology. In human beings, digestion is physiology. In human beings, excretion is physiology. Likewise, all this process, if it is happening in plants, we call it as plant physiology. So, we are going to study not about all this process, but who is responsible for all this process in plants in this chapter. That is what is plant physiology. Next, first, the main part that is helping for this topic is roots. See the heading, absorption by roots. Roots. What are roots? It's a branched part of a plant with millions of root hairs. It's a branch that divides from the main primary root. Whatever is been arising from the seed during germination, the radical part is your primary root, tapering downwards towards gravity. Then from primary root, the next root arises sidewards laterally is called as secondary root. From secondary root, furthermore, if it is giving rise to branches, it is tertiary root. And from tertiary roots, small rootlets will come. So, this is what is growth of the roots. So, roots are branched part of a plant with millions of root hairs. The main function of the root is nothing but our topic, absorption. That is with the help of root hairs. These roots have distant zones like root cap. Look into this diagram. This is the internal structure of root. So, it has distant zones like root cap. Cap, where do we place this cap? For a pen, where are we using this cap? To close it actually. Same way here, for a root, the root cap is here to close the root hairs. Then meristematic region, which is present at the tip of the growing parts. Then region of elongation. As the name says, elongation means the growing region. Next, root hair zone. That is your root hair zone. These are the distant zones of roots. We have root cap, we have meristematic region, then region of elongation and root hair zone. That is what is the introduction for roots. Next, root hairs. Root hairs, the function of root hairs, or where is this root hairs present? Look at this diagram. This diagram, you have cortex part. For a plant or for any parts of a plant, you will definitely have cortex, and especially for the root you will have cortex, where you have the very essential two parts called as conducting tissues which are called as xylem and phloem. Xylem and phloem is present in the cortex part of a plant. What is xylem? Xylem is a conducting tissue, conductor. Who is conductor for a bus? He conducts the bus in a proper channel, wherever it has to stop, wherever it has to move. Likewise, for a plant, the conducting tissues conducts from one place to another. How bus is traveling from one place to another place. Likewise, this conducting tissues, that is xylem, takes water from soil to all parts of the plant. That is why it is called as one of the conducting tissue, xylem. Then coming to the phloem. Phloem is also called as conducting tissue. What is this phloem doing? It conducts what? The food materials, minerals and the stored food materials to all parts of the body. So these two are present in the cortex part of a plant. That is your cortex part. See this part is your cortex. Next, root hair region. The small tiny ones, appendages. Appendages means the extra outgrowths of anything is called as appendages. So this root hairs on the surface of the root are present, millions of. I can't draw those millions here in such a small diagram, so I have drawn only 10. Next is xylem. As I said, xylem is the one of the conducting tissue which conducts water from soil to all parts of the plant. Next, phloem. Phloem is the one conducting tissue which conducts food materials to all parts of the plant. Then your endo. Where are these two present? Of course, in the cortex region. Where is this cortex region present? In the endodermis part. Endo, inside. Epi, outside. Endo means inside. Dermis means the outer layer. Dermis, the outer layer of anything. So, behind or beneath the outer layer is your endodermis layer. So, this cortex region is present in the endodermis part of a roots, where you have xylem and phloem. Down to its tapering downwards, tapering. You might have seen carrot, radish. The structure above will be broad and it will be tapering downwards. Tapering means it becomes very thin when it is coming downwards. That is tapering. Same way here, for a root, the root cap is the tapering part because to fix into the soil. Coming to the root hairs, so it develops from epidermis. It's not from endodermis. As I said, endo means inside. What do the roots have in the endodermis region? It has xylem and phloem. What does this roots have in the epi? Epi means I said outside. See, look at this, root hairs are present in the outside of the roots. That is outside layer of the roots. So develop from epidermis and increase the surface area. Surface area. If this root hairs are not present, assume the root will be only this much. It has to fix the whole plant to the surface of soil, isn't it? It may not do it properly. If at all it has millions of root hairs, what this root hairs will do? It will spread in the soil and increase the surface area of the plant stem to fix into the soil. That's what is increasing the surface area. Surface area of soil actually. For absorption of water and for absorption of minerals. Continuing with root hairs, the second point, root hairs during water absorption, plasma membrane of root hair, its cytoplasm and the tonoplast. Or during water absorption, three regions are responsible. Number 1, plasma membrane of root hair. Number 2, its cytoplasm, and number 3, tonoplast. We know plasma membrane of root hair, every cell, assume root hair has millions of cells inside. Maybe not millions, but thousands of cells inside. Each cell will have cell membrane, which is called as plasma membrane. Yes, so that plasma membrane helps during water absorption. Next, it's cytoplasm. Inside plasma membrane you have cytoplasm. The cytoplasmic contents helps during water absorption. Next is tonoplast. Tonoplast means the semi-permeable membrane that is surrounding a vacuole in a plant cell. We know plant cell, there's a big vacuole. This vacuole stores water, and this water has to be sent out to the plant, isn't it? So how is it sent out? Through the membrane, cell membrane or plasma membrane. So that plasma membrane here they called it as semi-permeable. Semi means half, permeable, giving permission. It is not allowing all the contents of the cell or all the water to pass from the cell to the plant. Actually from the root hair cell to the plant actually. If it sends all the water, definitely it may not have water for oxygen circulation. So it retains some water and sends only some of the water, not the minerals, not the ions which is present in it, but it sends only water. That is why it is called as semi-permeable membrane. Semi means does not allow everything, but it allows only half of the molecules or half of the particles which is needed for the plant. That is why it is called as semi-permeable. So this semi-permeable membrane that is surrounding the vacuole, not the cell actually, that is surrounding the vacuole is called as tonoplast. So for absorption of water, plasma membrane of root hair, your cytoplasm and the tonoplast helps. Next, root hair zone contains immature xylem. I have written it with blue color. You might ask me, Madam, xylem is present inside the plant. Of course, xylem is also present in the root hairs, but I have mentioned the word immature. Means the cells that are the xylem cells that are present in the plant are mature xylem. This is immature xylem cells which helps only in conduction of water. So that water is imbibed by cell wall. Why should xylem be immature? The main function of xylem in the root hairs is, apart from conducting water, it also imbibes the cell. What is imbibition? Let me tell you an example. Overnight, I am soaking chenna seeds in water. Next day morning, if I see the chenna seeds might have swollen and become increased in size. What is happening to this? I am soaking this chenna seeds in water. This chenna seeds is observing the water through its membrane and it becomes soft actually. It was hard initially and now after soaking early morning, if you see, it will be very soft and increase in size. That is what is imbibition. Imbibing means getting swelled up. Okay, that is what is the function of xylem. Immature xylem, so that water is imbibed by cell wall. So the cell wall is taking up the water. Then the protoplasm of root cells is connected by means of plasmodesmata. The protoplasm of root cells, the cells which are present in the root, is connected. This has to be connected. See how for our brain, I am telling you, I am looking at this camera and then I am speaking. I am not doing it by myself. My hands are not moving by myself. My brain is telling me to do that. I am doing. So, my hands are here, brain is here. How it is getting connected? Definitely for passing the impulse from brain or passing the reflex or whatever it is, impulse or reflex from brain to the sense organs, there should be some connection. It might be a short pathway or a long pathway. There should be some connection. The same way, even for the plants, for the water to go out, the cell has to be connected with some other thing. So that connecting bridge like between one cell and another cell, The bridge like that passes water, the bridge that passes only water to the cell, not anything, is called as plasmodesmata. Since it is present in the protoplasm, it is called as plasmodesmata. Look at the diagram. See, assume this is the red color one is your cell wall. Beneath the cell wall, you have your cytoplasm. The cytoplasm inside which has a cell, and these are vacuoles. I already said the water that is being stored in the vacuole is transported to the next cell. So the vacuole, and see this blue color arrow mark is the movement of water out of the cell, from this cell to this cell, from this cell to this cell, this way. So here, where is plasmodesmata? The bridge here in between these two cells is called as plasmodesmata. Next. So that's all about the explanation for roots. Then functions of roots. Functions of roots. Fixation of plants. We already discussed roots help in fixing the plant or a tree to the soil. This roots does this work with the help of root hairs. Then absorption of water and minerals. How this root hairs absorb water and minerals? With the help of root hairs again, with the help of root hairs. Then conduct absorbed water and minerals to upper parts of the plant, to xylem. So this root hairs conducts, moves this absorbed water. It cannot hold it for itself. Whatever it has absorbed water and minerals, it will conduct to upper parts of the plant through the channel or the conductor called as xylem. Actually, for your reference, for your understanding, I told it as a conductor, but actually xylem is called as conducting tissue. So this root hairs, whatever it has absorbed water and minerals, will conduct to the plant through the conducting tissue called as xylem. Next is role of water and minerals in the plant. What are these after absorbing water and minerals? What are these water and minerals doing for the plant? Number one, transportation. Transportation. Water is the transport medium for conduction. For anything to conduct, we need some liquid medium. For example, I'll take human beings. As I said in the beginning of this chapter, for everything, for every example, I will just talk about in human anatomy. Yes, so that you will understand easily. Okay. In human physiology, if you see, for conduction of anything, either food materials or the waste or conduction of oxygen, we need a semi-solid or semi-liquid medium. That is our blood. Our blood. Likewise, for a plant also, it cannot have blood actually. It does not have blood also. But still, it needs a liquid medium for the conduction of minerals. Minerals are in the form of ions here. So, the concentration will be more. So, it needs a liquid medium. That liquid medium is nothing but water. So, water is the transport medium for conduction. That is how it transports minerals to parts of the plant. Next, second one, photosynthesis. This water and minerals, water is the main ingredient for photosynthesis apart from minerals. So what is this water doing? During photosynthesis, the plant absorbs all the water. Along with it, it will be ready for the absorbing sunlight too. At a time. Without water, definitely the plant may not be so fresh to observe if the plants are drooped off, if the leaves are drooped off, very dull to look without any water, and it will not have proper, the leaves are not fresh. If the leaves are not stretched like this, if it is falling down, then the leaves here will have, what does it have? Chlorophyll, chloroplast on the upper surface. Upper surface of the leaf we will have chloroplast. Down under surface of the leaf we will have stomata. Isn't it? If the leaves are like this, it will absorb the sunlight for photosynthesis. Assume the leaves are drooped down like this. What is it showing? It is showing stomata upwards to the plant. to the sun. So to be the plant, to have its leaves and all its plant parts fresh, it needs water for photosynthesis. What is photosynthesis? Photo means light. Synthesis, with the help of light, plant prepares its own food. Likewise, see, water is used as a raw material for synthesis of glucose. What is the food for plant? The food for the plant is, the only food for plant is glucose. It will store this glucose in the form of starch. Glucose is a complicated form, complex form. It will break down into smaller particles and it will store in different parts of the plant. For example, I will tell you what is a complex material. Take for example, I have laddu in my hand. This laddu, I am going to break it into pieces. What does this will become? It will become bundi. Isn't it? The laddu in my hand is your glucose molecule and the broken bundi is the starch molecule. Why is that plant breaking this complex glucose into starch? Because it has very few glucose molecule. How will it be available to all parts of the plant? Right from roots till the tip of the plant, it needs glucose. So it may not be sufficient. So it breaks down into smaller particles called as starch, so that this starch will be evenly distributed to all parts of the plant. Is that clear? Okay. So that is glucose. Let's see the equation of photosynthesis. See, carbon dioxide. Plants take up carbon dioxide from atmosphere. As I said, water is the main source of photosynthesis. Carbon dioxide reacts with water. H2O is water molecule. CO2 is carbon dioxide. Carbon di to oxygen molecule. So it is dioxide plus water in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll pigment present in the chloroplast of leaves. It gives out glucose, that is your C6H12O6 is the formula for glucose, plus oxygen. As I said, plants are taking carbon dioxide and giving out oxygen for us as a result of its photosynthesis process. This oxygen, what has been left by the plant, we are respiring inside. We are inhaling inside. We are taking inside. That is how plants are helping us. Without plants, assume your house or your surrounding area of your house, your total colony does not have even a single plant. If plant is not there, there is no transpiration, there is no photosynthesis. We are heterotrophic organisms. We depend on plants for our food. If there are no plants, where is the rice for us? Where is the vegetable for us? If at all it is non-vegetarians, the animals, the meat whatever you eat, the animals are surviving because of plants. Animals are herbivores actually. So plants are very essential for us to live. Next, mechanical function. Third one, mechanical function. Mechanics is some work to be done. In physics, what do we call mechanics as? For example, a fan rotating, a motor running off, a cycle pedaling. All these are mechanics. Some work to be done by a machine or some other instrument. So mechanical function. What is function happening in the plants? Water provides turgidity. So there comes an important word for this absorption is turgidity. What is turgidity? It's swelling of the cell due to high fluid content. Previously I told imbibition. If you remember, previously I told in the beginning of this chapter, imbibition, imbibing means swelling up. I told you chenna example. Chenna means I am soaking the chenna leaves, chenna seeds overnight in water. Next day morning I can see the swelling up of seeds. That is, the water is getting inside the chenna seeds. There it is water. I called as imbibition. Here I am telling fluid. I call the word turgidity. Yes, what is the difference between liquid and a fluid? I call water as a liquid. And I call a fluid in the sense, can I call honey as fluid? Yes, of course. So it has a dual characteristics of little bit of solid nature and liquid nature. Fluid is, liquid can free flow, but fluids cannot free flow. Partial liquid I can say are fluid. Yes. That is what is turgidity. Look at this. Assume this is a plant cell. The water from outside is getting into the cell. That is what is turgidity. If the cell can hold this much is the cell and it is of this size. I am just pushing water inside. Like how you, you push on the air into cycle tire. What will happen? It will bulge, it will swell up. Likewise, the cell is holding this much water only. You are forcibly allowing water to enter inside. The cell will become increased or swell. That is what is turgid condition. Next, transpiration. Transpiration is large quantities of water is passed as water vapor during transpiration. So during transpiration, early morning, during winter season especially, and even in summer season, you can see water droplets on the surface of leaves. Early morning, if you go near the plant and see the leaves, you can see the wet or moist nature on the surface of leaves. That's because plant leave out its excess water, its sense of excess water, like how we excrete urine. Plant also sent out this excess water in the form of droplets, and some of the water is getting evaporated. When will it get evaporate? When there is sun. So due to sun's heat, the water inside the plant will automatically get evaporated. But when there is no sun, plant leave out in the form of tiny water droplets. So that process you call it as transpiration. So large quantities of water is passed as vapor during transpiration. Next, maintaining plant's temperature. Plants observe this radiation. What plants observe? What is plants observing? What radiation? It is not observing ultraviolet radiation. It is not observing infrared radiation. Nothing. It is observing sun's radiation. Sun's radiation. Okay, the radiation or the rays from the sun it is observing without any increase in temperature. So since it is continuously observing, for photosynthesis it needs sunlight. Yes, so it has to observe the radiation of the sun. As it is continuously observing till the sun is there, it has to increase its temperature. The temperature of the plant definitely should get increased, but it is not getting increased. Instead, when we sleep under a tree, when you go for a village where there is a beautiful agricultural land, if you have big, huge trees over there, if you sleep under it, you will experience, AC is nothing in front of that. Air conditioner in your house is nothing in front of that. What is happening? The plants, though it observes sun's heat, it will leave out water, excess water out, and thus cools the environment, chills the environment around. That is what is transpiration. Yes, though it absorbs enormous amount of sun's heat, it will not have increase in temperature because the water has specific heat. Water itself has a specific heat. Boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius. Water inside, the water that is present in the plant itself has specific heat. So that is enough for the plant to get balanced. Though it absorbs heat, it is getting balanced with water. Continuing with the last role of water and minerals in the plants. It is stomatal movement. So, for the stomata to open and close, it needs water and minerals. Let's see how water and minerals are helping for opening and closing of stomata. Water in the God cells. Where is this God cells? God cells, as the name says, God. It will be present on the epidermal region of stomata. So this guard cells are meant for like a security guard, opens and closes. So water that is present in the guard cells controls the opening and closing of stomata. As the name, the heading is role of water and minerals in the plants. Sixth point is stomatal movement. So this water helps the stomata in opening and closing of it. When will stomata open? During photosynthesis. It allows water inside and sends out the oxygen outside after photosynthesis. Then when will it close? When there is no photosynthesis, it will close. So how is this opening and closing happening in the stomata? Let's see with the help of water and minerals. Stomata opens and closes due to water and ions. As I said, water and minerals. Here minerals are not present in the elemental form. It is present in the ionic form. Going back to chemistry, what is elements and what are ions? Element. Let me take oxygen. Oxygen, I will write it as a O2. I will take hydrogen. I will write it as H2 as a molecule, isn't it? If I have to denote this as an ion, I will write hydrogen as H plus ion. In the above, to its power, I will write plus. For example, I will take chlorine. Chlorine, Cl2 is a molecule. Cl is just Cl if we write, it is an ion. So Cl, I will definitely denote it with minus. So if I mention plus or minus in the powers of an element, it is an ion. It is an elementary ionic particle. Okay. Now, due to the presence of water and ions, minerals are present, minerals or the elements present in the form of ions. Ions, movement, ATP from photosynthesis. So as a result of photosynthesis, plants are preparing glucose. Glucose work is carbohydrates in our body, gives us energy. Likewise, glucose in the plants also produces energy rich molecules called as ATP, adenosine triphosphate. Then it powers sodium and potassium pump. This sodium and potassium pump helps in mineral regulation in the body. Then the potassium ions are pumped into the guard cells. First, initially, the potassium ions from outside is pumped into the guard cells of stomata. It has to enter inside. What is there inside stomata? Water is inside. What is the formula of water? H2O. You have two ions of hydrogen and O, one molecule or one atom of an oxygen combined together to form H2O or water molecule. So the K plus ions from outside is pumped into the guard cells by creating a concentration gradient. What is concentration? Concentration, going back to chemistry, concentration is nothing but I am taking just a plain water in a beaker. Where do you find this beaker? In a chemistry lab. So in a chemistry lab you can see this glass equipments or glass whatever we are using in the chemistry lab. So those are called as beakers. So you are taking just a plain water initially in a beaker and you are going to add sugar in it or 3 to 4 spoons of sugar in it. You are mixing it. What is the water becoming? Water is becoming concentrated with sugar. Concentration, increase of something. What is that something? The solute. Water is a solvent and you are adding a solute. So water is getting concentrated. That is what is concentration. Here, same way. What is a concentration gradient? Concentration is initially in the plant, in the stomatal region, you have only water as I said. How is this variation? To this water, I am adding or what is getting inside? What is the new guest that is coming inside? K plus ion, potassium ions are coming inside. Will it not increase the concentration? Yes, it will increase the concentration. Concentration gradient is nothing but increase or decrease. All of you will get rank cards after the end of each exam or test. What does this rank cards have? They will write to your teachers, class teachers will write your grades. What are these grades? A grade is the toppest, B grade is the next, C is average, D is fail or whatever it is. Grades are increasing and decreasing marks, which denotes you are in the top position, average or whatever it is. Same way, gradient means the difference, increase or decrease. Initially, the concentration will be very, very less since it has only water. Then the concentration increases. That is what is concentration gradient. So, then the K plus ions are pumped into the God cells. When K plus ions or potassium ions, K is called as potassium, the symbol for potassium in chemistry. So when potassium ions are getting inside the God cells of stomata, which has only water, the new guest is coming along with the water. Therefore, what will happen to the house? For example, let me take a room in a house, or a bachelor staying in a room. That room can fit only one, isn't it? Now this bachelor's friends are coming, 10 more members are coming. That room cannot accommodate those 10. So new members are coming inside. What will happen? Congestion. Congested. They'll feel congested. There is increase in the number. That is what is happening here also for the plant. Plant is already having water. Who are the chief or who are the guest that is coming? Potassium ions. That will increase the concentration gradient of the plant. For the uptake of K plus ions, for the K plus ions intake, plant definitely needs minerals in the form of ions. So it will take up that K plus ions which are present in the soil. So it requires H plus ions. In a chemistry we have seen, in your 10th standard you might have seen, what is that? Neutralization reaction, or I can say displacement reaction. Displacement reaction is a plus or a metal will replace another plus ion, or a metal. A metal will definitely replace another metal. A non-metal will replace another non-metal. In a chemical reaction, that is displacement reaction. Same way here, if K plus ions has to enter inside, some other ions has to go outside. Isn't it? As I said, in a bachelor's room, 10 of them cannot sit there. So some of them has to go out to stay in that room. So if K plus has to enter inside, some of the H plus, where is this H plus? In the water actually. These ions are in the water. This has to go out. So, for the uptake of K plus ions, it requires H plus ions, which is called as influx of K plus ions. Influx, getting in. Who is getting in? K plus ions. That is influx of K plus ions into God cells. And outward movement of H plus ions. As I said, if K plus ions has to get inside, H plus ions has to go outside. That is outward movement of H plus ions, which is called as efflux of H plus ions. If this is influx, going out or outward movement is efflux of H plus ions. This is called as active ionic exchange. Ionic exchange. Ions are getting exchanged. H plus is getting exchanged with K plus. Active. What is active? If I am getting in, you have to go out. Both are equal. They both are in mutual understanding. K plus. Now already you are there inside. H plus. I have to enter inside. So please give that place. H plus says, I am already there for long time. Okay, you can come and sit in my place. I will go out in your place. That's mutual understanding. Okay, that is activeness. Active ionic exchange, which requires ATP. For all this process, definitely K plus and H plus needs ATP, energy, rich molecules, and cytokinin. Cytokinin is a plant hormone. Thus, concentration of K plus ions increases because it is coming inside and some of the water is there inside. So, K plus will mix up with water and concentration of this K plus ions will get increased, and concentration of H plus ions will decrease inside the stomata because some of the H plus ions are going out. So, H plus ions decreases. Thus, God cells swells. When K plus ion concentration increases, the cell will swell up and open. When it is swelling, see, look at the stomatal diagram. When it is swelling, you will have a cavity or opening in between. That makes the stomata give way for either water or for the air to enter inside and go out. That is what is stomatal movement. The sixth point in role of water and minerals in the plants. So with this, I end up part 1 of chapter 4, absorption by roots. If you like my videos, please don't forget to click like button, share it with your friends, and then don't forget to subscribe my channel. Many of you are watching without subscribing. I already said your support is my strength. So don't forget to subscribe my channel. Let's meet in my part 2 of this chapter. Thank you.